How's the royal family? I pray that everyone is doing well. Well, my royal family, I'm going to try my best to get through this without laughing too much. So many know now that the former FBI director, James Comey, has a book out. Now, I want to explain some stuff to you, my royal family. When this book was being put out, James came to me because, he had a couple of titles. And he was showing me all these titles, and they were very self-defeating. In fact, I'll show you one. Let's see. I think it's right. Oh, right here. Right here. Now, I know he's all up in his feelings and how Trump did him. I don't really think he ever really wanted the job. But anyway, I told him, I said, you can't put that book out. Now, I know he slammed you and did some shit to you and all of that. But, Trump is what Trump is. Just go out and tell core truth. So if anybody is interested in not buying the book, here it is. So I came up with all this. A higher loyalty, truth, lies, and leadership. It should say Kimberly Santana. So, anyway, let's go back over here. So anyway, I got 3 juicy videos to show you. Play the royal family. They might cross over a little bit into each other, but we're going to find out a little bit of juiciness from the book. So let's get into it.
Comey's book doesn't come out for another 5 days, but we're beginning to get some blockbuster details of what he has written in this new book. And obviously, these are things that are going to get under the skin of the President Trump. Among the things that Comey discusses is his infamous now meeting his first meeting with the president in 2017, when he went to go brief him on what is now known as the dossier of Russia allegations, Russia collusion allegations. And the thing, according to Comey, that President Trump was most focused on was this episode that allegedly was caught on tape between him and prostitutes in a luxury hotel in Moscow back in 2013. This formed the most salacious allegations that were contained in the now infamous dossier, alleging that the Russians had compromising material on the incoming president. I'll read you just a part of what the Washington Post says is contained in the Comey book. He says, Trump strongly denied the allegations, asking rhetorically, I assumed, whether he seemed like a guy who needed the service of prostitutes. He then began discussing cases where women had accused him of sexual assault, a subject I had not raised. He mentioned a number of women and seemed to have memorized their allegations. Wolf, these are the types of things that we obviously had heard about, that this was a very uncomfortable meeting in early 2017 as the incoming president was being briefed not only about the threat from Russia, but also other national security threats. And James Comey pulled him aside at the end of this briefing with his top intelligence officials and decided to brief him on a summary of what the FBI knew about this dossier of allegations of Russian compromising information that they claimed to have on him. And obviously, this is where their relationship began to immediately sour. We now have heard from the president who claims that he thought that James Comey was trying to essentially blackmail him to hold something over his head. Comey describes a different reaction, obviously, from what we're seeing in this book.
All right, my royal family. Let's shut this down.
811 is a free service to keep our community safe.
So, lies and excuses. That's all we hear. That's how Trump get down. He slammed this dude because he wouldn't do what he say, basically. And he's claiming that he did some investigations behind his back, and Trump is all about loyalty. But you notice Trump ain't loyal to nobody. He do all this crazy shit, but he ain't loyal. But he real quick to call somebody a weasel. I mean, he about the lyingest motherfucker I've ever heard about. But anyway, now it gets even a little bit better. To check this video out.
suggests that there was tension from the beginning, even before the inauguration. Comey briefed Mr. Trump on the allegations contained in the then unsubstantiated dossier on Russian interference in the election. Comey writes about the Trump team. They were about to lead a country that had been attacked by a foreign adversary, yet they had no questions about what the future Russian threat might be. Instead, Comey writes they launched into a strategy session about how to spin what we'd just told them to the public. Comey says the president focused on one of the most salacious allegations in the dossier, that he'd had a sexual encounter in a Moscow hotel room. Comey writes Mr. Trump strongly denied the allegations, asking rhetorically, I assumed, whether he seemed like a guy who needed the service of prostitutes. Comey also writes about the Oval Office meeting, where he says the president asked him for his loyalty. He testified about that before Congress.
I was playing in my mind, what should my response be? And that's why I very carefully chose the words. And look, I've seen the tweet about tapes. Lordy, I hope there are tapes.
Comey said that moment reminded him of a mobster's induction ceremony. He also said that when he was fired, then DHS Secretary John Kelly told him that he was sick about the situation. Comey says Kelly told him that he didn't want to work for dishonorable people. The White House denies that Kelly used that language. Kelly, of course, is now the White House Chief of Staff. Jeff.
Jeff Begase, thank you very much.
Wow. Ouch.
Could Michaela the Prince use the Chase mobile app to pay practically anyone?
That's all I can say is, ouch. So, now this is a part that gets me, that don't make no sense to me, but I'm going to play it. I'm going to play it. I ain't going to say nothing. I'm going to play it. So this is how they going to counteract this shit.
Mounting a campaign to fight back against James Comey, hoping to brand the former FBI director with 2 words, Lion Comey. Through this website and digital ads, Republicans are trying to undermine Comey's credibility as he kicks off a media blitz for his new tell-all memoir. To make their case, Republicans are turning to Democrats.
He made a mistake. Maybe he's not in the right job.
Using their vocal criticism of Comey to remind Americans there's plenty for all sides to dislike about the nation's former top law enforcement official. The irony of Republicans using Democrats to discredit Comey underscores the political contradictions surrounding the former FBI director, who Trump fired nearly a year ago.
Why did you fire Director Comey?
Because he wasn't doing a good job, very simply. He was not doing a good job.
It was a decision that changed his presidency, setting into motion the appointment of special counsel Robert Mueller to lead the Russia investigation. That cloud hangs over the White House and is weighing on his presidency.
Mr. President!
The president is already thinking about his own plan to combat Comey, turning to one of his informal advisors, Fox News host Sean Hannity. Big show tonight on Sean Hannity, the president tweeted last night. Minutes later, Hannity launching into a conspiratorial monologue about Comey.
Well, tonight, Comey is already in hot water after comparing the president to a mob boss.
That's apparently how Comey described the president to ABC's George Stephanopoulos, whose interview with Comey kicks off the media blitz Sunday.
We're going to break down this appalling analogy. We'll remind Comey tonight what a real mob boss looks like, and you would think that a former FBI director would understand this.
The president didn't always think so poorly of Comey. From this handshake in the early days of the administration to these glowing words on the campaign trail when Trump thought Comey was on his side.
It took guts for Director Comey to make the move that he made in light of the kind of opposition he had.
But less than 4 months after taking office, Trump fired him.
Well, let me shut that down. Boy, you talking about some slimy ass people. Ain't nobody up there in D.C. telling truth. Everybody's slimy. It just depends on how slimy you want to get. That's basically it. So that's how they going to try to counteract it. They going to go to Fox News, do their part. Then they going to cherry pick certain things that the Democrats say. But see, you got to listen to those whole videos. You know, you can't listen to little snippets of shit, because there's always some shit behind the shit. But the last thing that I wanted to show y'all was this. They dragging this dude all over social media. I mean, the shit is hilarious. Now, I told him this shit was going to happen because this is how this shit get down. But this is how they do in their world. Boy, you talking about karma. I mean, retrograde been whooping Trump's ass. And it is so very sweet. And as always, my royal family, and the plot thickens. There will be more to come. So anyway, my royal family, render your voice with your beautiful divine words. And as always, my royal family, I thank you for your love. I thank you for your support. And with that said, Ashe. I like shit like this. I love it.